Hey guys, I've had a few people ask about the recording process for this album, and so I thought I'd make a video just addressing it for everyone. Uh, Back in the day when I first started recording with Chris, when I was sort of fresh out of high school and everything, I was a huge proponent of recording everything live. And if you guys have been following me for a while, you've seen some of those older tunes where everything is recorded together in one take, as it would appear in a live show. And I think because, having grown up with sort of a classical background, that's what was expected of me. But also, more so, I think that's the only way I really knew how to do it because I had been that's how I'd been doing it in school and in sort of extracurricular lessons and stuff like that. So it just didn't really occur to me to do it any other way, I guess. Until slowly, I kind of because of time and the fact that really mainly for time constraint, I couldn't get musicians together to practice enough. We had to start going the route of like recording things one at a time. I went down that route and I started to see how easy it was. It's the division of labor is completely different. I mean, Chris, if you want to comment on this and I'm completely wrong, let me know. But I think if all the musicians are totally 100% prepared for just that one take, then it makes the producer's life a lot easy. However, if the musicians aren't prepared, I could imagine, and they just kind of come in willy nilly and just try their best and take a few takes until they just get it. It's way easier for them, but then it makes the producer's life a lot harder. So it's just kind of like the scales are balanced one way or the other, sort of extremes. And certainly the last EP I did, Garden of Eden, was pretty extremely in my favor. Like, it was really easy for me to just come in. Everything, all the instruments were electronic. They were all done on GarageBand, actually, mostly. And then I just sent the individual electronic tracks to Chris, and then I came in and recorded the vocals bit by bit. But this album was actually interesting because it's pretty equal division this time. Tide of Time, the track, was recorded live. Me and Brandon did record all that live. I was actually playing the piano and I was actually singing, and that what you hear is what I recorded when we did that. And Brandon was actually playing the guitar. And if you listen closely, there is another electric guitar that he also played, obviously separately. But that acoustic, piano, and lead vocal was all that actual organic single raw take there. And we didn't even use a click. I like it when music has a little bit more of a push and a pull to its tempo. That's actually more of a classical thing too. Pop is very boom, 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 beat, 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 exactly one tempo, one numeric tempo the whole time. But I like it when music can breathe a little bit more. So we didn't do a click, and it actually made Chris's job a lot harder because then he had to go in post recording and add in sort of a manual click, which must have taken forever. I'm so sorry. But I really liked having such an organic core to build off of, because then after we obviously did that core take of the vocals and the piano and the guitar, then we started adding bells and whistles, and we did a lot of harmonies, and there's a little bit of drums in there. Some of it's real, some of it's on the keyboard electronic. And then I brought my viola in. I played viola in high school, and that's probably what took the most editing, because I'm really bad at that instrument. That's any fretless string instrument, well, any instrument, but certainly any fretless string instrument. If you're not practicing it constantly, your muscle memory is like gone, because it's so particular, and your intonation is gonna be awful. And my intonation was god awful. So the strings only sound as good as they do, 100% because of Chris. But that's how that worked, and it's kind of a really nice, I think, division of labor and just way to record. I like having a very organic, genuine, full live take to build off of and then sort of to polish as things go along, and it created a really nice sound. And the next track that you guys will see on Friday is actually the choral piece. Obviously that one, all the voices are going to be me, so I couldn't do that in one take. I did the piano by itself, and then I did all the separate parts in bits. I wasn't totally ready to, again, I hadn't practiced a lot, but I knew what the parts were going to be. but I wasn't like sitting in my room practicing the individual vocal parts myself. So that was pretty bit by bit. However, that being said, I didn't record any video when we were doing that that track, the choral one that you guys will see soon. It just wasn't on my mind. So the video you guys are gonna see is all fake. I really am playing the piano part, and I really am singing the individual parts to the best of my ability. But what you're seeing is not at all what you're hearing, right? What you're hearing is what we recorded in the studio that we didn't film visually at all. But then what you're seeing is what I just recorded in my house here visually, like a week ago, actually, just for the sake of the video. I do actually try to sing it. I mean, it doesn't sound nearly as good in my little videos I made as it does in the recording, obviously, the actual recording. But I do try to sing it to avoid, because it makes me feel like a jackass if I'm just going like, you're like, I can't do that. I had to do that actually for college. My last year of college was right at the beginning of COVID, and so my composition recital was on Zoom, and I had to make videos for all of them because it was on Zoom. And yeah, that's how it worked. So for my senior recital for college, I did do a lot of type stuff, and I felt so silly doing it. So I obviously, if I want to put this stuff on YouTube, I think it's an aid to have a visual. But if I do have a visual, I want it to be as accurate as possible. Even if you're not seeing the actual thing happening, I want it to be accurate as accurate as possible. So in Tide of Time, you were seeing the actual thing happening. That is what you're seeing is what you're hearing, and then there's additions. Obviously, you can hear in there if you're listening. And actually, Chris played the mandolin. There's parts where the viola is doubled by a mandolin up the octave, and that's all Chris in there too. And there's a lot of cool, interesting backing stuff in there. Yeah, the choral one's pretty straightforward. It's piano, and then I think there's more than 3 voices in the video. You just see three of me and then a piano. If I remember correctly, and if I'm hearing correctly, I think there's at least 4 different parts. It's like a full men's choir piece, but I don't need it to be that accurate. I did sing like the melody, the top when you watch the video when it comes out soon, the top left is me singing the melody, the main line to the best of my ability. The bottom is me singing the bass, and then the top right is me singing like a midsection harmony to the best of my ability. And then I really am playing the piano part, although it's me playing it separately at a different time. And then the track you will hear next week was recorded on the same night as Tide of Time, so it'll look exactly the same. It's me and Brandon in the exact same clothes because we did all of that in like a couple hours, at least Tide of Time and this other live recorded track. So it's going to be the same setup, but there are actually, I think there's a little bit more bells and whistles on this one. There's more viola, there's more vocals, and there's additional drums and everything. So I am going to make drama. What do you want to call them? Dramatizations of the viola and some of the other parts. Just because I think when you see the part, your ear is more likely to grab it, right? Like I think when I posted Tide of Time, all you're seeing is me and Brandon. And so all you're really focused on is like the piano and the guitar and mainly my voice. But there's a lot going on that I think might not fully register if you're really looking at it. So one of the reasons I think it's important actually to, whether or not it's the real take, to show you what's happening is because it'll engage you more as a listener. You're like, if you see me playing the viola, your ear will suddenly pick out that part and you'll be like, oh, there's a viola. So I am going to try and fit those in sort of around that core live take in video on the third track, which will be called Head in the Clouds. But so yeah, this Friday, a couple days from now, you will see the choral piece called Fire and Freedom. So don't laugh too hard, because while it's not the real thing that you're looking at, I am actually singing it to the best of my ability. Although those videoed attempts don't nearly sound anywhere as good as what you're hearing. So, but I try my best. So yeah, that's that. If that's interesting at all, I can talk more about this stuff. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and I will answer them. Thank you.